Darcy's Corner. We'll see how things go. Um, I'm holding it so it might be a little bit shaky, but I kind of like this position better. And yeah. Anyway, it's first thing in the morning. The election was last night, the American election, and they still don't know who won yet. And they're figuring it out, and it'll be messy and ugly, whatever they do. But neither here nor there. I've just been thinking about. I'm in Alberta, Canada, and so we have an interesting situation with our premier. Who's like, well, you don't really need hospitals. It's just a pandemic. We'll just let all the doctors and nurses go now, and people clean up the floors and stuff. Yeah, we just don't want to pay them, so we're gonna stop doing that too. And this is in the middle of a pandemic. It's really an interesting approach to healthcare. He's like, yeah, we'll just wipe y'all out, and problem solved. Really, that kind of seems to be Jason Kenney's approach. I don't really understand it. Like even if you voted for him, you'd think living would be like a priority for you. Anyway, neither here nor there in the grand scheme of things. Other than it sucks for us right now. And in 2 years, if everybody's working, they'll forget. They're like, oh yeah, right, there was that pandemic where he tried to kill us all. But still, other than that, I mean, I'm voting for him because taxes. Anyway, it's enough of a rant about that. But I am thinking about the international stage though, and I'm very see what the United States needs is what Canada has. Now, what does Canada have that the United States does not have? Okay, we have the Liberals, which is a left leaning group, but if they're allowed to their own devices, they will lie. Like, they had many, many years to improve on the environment and to fix all these other social problems, and they kind of didn't move the needle that much. And you know why they didn't move the needle that much? They didn't have to. They didn't really want to solve the problems, and they just kind of like would change it a little bit. And the conservatives got in charge, and then it was the same thing, but in the other direction, right? They're like, we're not going to solve these problems, but we're going to blame all these people for it, and we're going to cut these programs. Um, that was kind of what they did. And now the Liberals are back in charge, but the NDP's got some power this time. The NDP, think of them as like they'll never likely be in charge, for sure, so they can say whatever they want. You can promise anything if you're never going to be holding the keys to power. You know why Jagmeet is calling out Trump and calling him what he is? Because Jagmeet will likely never be our prime minister, which makes me sad. I wish he would be our prime minister. I think he would do an excellent job, but I don't think he will ever get that job. I think that will not be. I think that will be denied to him, which is fine. That's how democracies work. That's okay. But the point is, even though he'll never be our prime minister, he can say whatever he wants about any world leader, and like, there's no real consequences to Canada. But it can be noted that in history that it was said, hey, we call him a fascist dictator long before he actually was one in history, because like this is all going to go down in history one day, and it will be remembered that certain people were not called out. But I totally understand Trudeau's point too, because he has to deal with this guy either way. And even if, let's just say Trump loses the election, which is kind of what would be best for the world, but even if he does lose the election, he's still president for what, 2 more months? You don't think he can screw some things up for Trudeau in 2 more months? Oh, yes, he can. Like, why why do that, right? We have enough issues. We don't need to get involved with their politics, even though it affects us in a big way and it's really freaking annoying. We don't need to get involved with that. So I'm glad Trudeau's just like staying neutral because that's his job. He's a politician and he has to deal with whoever becomes the president, whether he likes the guy or not. Like, he doesn't get a choice in that. So if he thinks Trump's a fascist dictator, he can't say it, but Jagmeet can say it, right? Like, think of Jagmeet as like Jiminy Cricket, okay? He's Trudeau's conscience, and he's going to keep pricking at him for all the little things he said he would do. He's going to make sure he does the things he said he was going to do. That was the problem with the Liberals before, is they never did what they said they were going to do. They're like, we're going to do this for the environment, we're going to do this for jobs, and we're going to do this for that, and then they didn't do those things. We're like, hey, you didn't do it. That's why we voted in the Conservatives. But the NDP, man, they can say those things too, and they're just like liberal light, okay? And because they're never going to be in charge, or not likely to ever be in charge, Like, if they make official opposition, that would surprise the hell out of me. Um, but that'd be great if they did. But because they're never going to be in charge, they can promise whatever they want, and they don't have to deliver, right? But they do have to deliver votes, and they are in favor of the things that are making Canada better for Canada. So, far as I'm concerned, he's doing his job. But that's neither here nor there either as part of this ramble. I'm not really here to defend Jagmeet. I'm not like his buddy or nothing. I don't know him. I just like that he's doing what he's doing. I like that he's making Trudeau like do the things he said he's going to do. And when he doesn't do them, or if he doesn't do them well enough, Jagmeet chirps at him. Well, of course he does. That's his job. Even if he agrees with everything Trudeau's doing and like thinks he's doing us just perfect, he can't say that because then he might as well be. Then he's just saying vote for that guy. So he can't do that. That's his job to attack him. But I don't care, right? If it gets results, I don't care who does what, as long as we get what we need. Which is what's happening in Canada right now. But you see, the U.S. needs that. They need that in the Democratic Party. They need somebody, or a group of somebodies, who holds them accountable so they do the things they said they're going to do, right? Healthcare and taxes and all the other stuff that they need to fix and immigration. They actually need to do those things and not just talk about doing them. And they need their own conscience. They need their own NDP version, right? Because that's what the Tea Party did. The Tea Party, which was just really Republican hardcore or whatever extreme, they kept saying, no, 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 we want this. We want this. And they were a minority, but they were able to swing it their way, right? Well, that's what the Democrats need. They need the same thing. They need somebody who's their conscience that says, no, no, we want this over here. And like shame them into it if they have to. But like, we're going to get everybody health care. Everybody's going to have a place to live. And nobody's going to be thrown in cages and camps because they happen to be born someplace other than where we don't know. Who cares? Being a human being and existing is not a crime. If you refer to a human being as an illegal, it's not a dog. Okay, I have illegal dogs in my house. I'm not supposed to have them. I live in an apartment. But they're dogs. Who cares? They're not people. They're not human beings. Okay? Ironically enough, people would care more about my dogs if I did something to them than they would about reporting illegals. That's just sad and disgusting. Anyway, I digress. The important thing here is that, the Americans need their own version of the NDP. They need somebody who's chirping in their corner who makes them do the right thing. That's why you got guys like Bernie Sanders and AOC and stuff. That's their job. To keep you guys on course, to be your conscience. Anyway, that's Darcy's Corner. That's my take on politics right now. Good luck, y'all.